All right, well, in some other news here, this college football season is the first with name, image, and likeness rules in place, and AllState is making its presence known. The company pledging $1 million to honor the AllState AFCA Good Works Team, as well as its nonprofits of choice and their remarkable commitment to community service. Cheddar anchor Brad Smith spoke to two-time college football national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, and New York Times best-selling author Tim Tebow about the initiative. Take a listen.
I'm so grateful. I got to be a part of it in 2009, and now being able to be an ambassador. The Good Works Team is a team of 22 college football players that do incredible work off of the field. You know, there's so many honors and awards and trophies for what these young people do on the field, but it's more important who they are and what they do off the field. And that's exactly, why AllState started the Good Works Team. And this is the 30th year of it. But also with the new NIL deals, they're also able to support these athletes and also support their charities. And they pledged $1 million, which I think is super cool. And I also got to surprise these guys and share some of that news with them. And man, it was so cool because, to a man, they were just saying, wow, this is awesome. I'm going to be able to feed even more homeless. I'm going to be able to have even more camps. I'm going to be able to do even more. And you're like, that's exactly why you're on this team, is because that's your mindset. And It's just so cool. It's so encouraging, and I love it.
So what traits do the winners of this initiative possess, and how is this different than many of the other name, image, and likeness deals that we are seeing?
Well, to my knowledge, this is the first one for what they do off of it. It has nothing to do with how good they are on the field. It has everything to do with the impact that they're making off of the field. And I always believe that's more important than anything that you do on a field or a court or anything else that you play is who you are and the impact you have. And so, I mean, these guys are literally either starting their own nonprofits or running their own camps or visiting hospitals. And I'm telling you, I'm on the selection committee to vote on all these guys, and you get hundreds of applications and resumes, and you're reading them and you're like, how am I going to narrow it down to 22? But these guys are incredible, all the stuff they do. And, I really think if the listeners and the viewers of this go and they read these kids' bios, they're going to be encouraged about the next generation and how incredible they are of these 22. And I also believe that, a few of these names one day, 10, 20 years from now, we're going to be looking at them as doing something great and incredible. And so it's really exciting to be able to support these young people.
Certainly. And Tim, the name, image, likeness policy, it creates an entirely new frontier in college sports. Back in 2019, you actually passionately spoke out against college athletes being compensated for their name, image, and likeness. What changed?
Well, it wasn't necessarily against supporting them. It was against how are we doing it? And so I've actually always been supportive of being able to support student athletes. It's just a question of how. I didn't believe in the wild, wild west of recruiting, 12-year-olds and middle schoolers but I've always wanted to be able to support the student athlete. And so that was really the goal, is I want to find a way to help them. And I think, I've also been pleasantly surprised with the NIL deal so far and how it's gone, and still, keeping the essence of college sports, but also being able to support these young people. And so, I also think my eyes have been open to some of it as well in certain areas. And, I also want to be someone that's always, open to, listening and learning and just trying to do what's right and what's best.
Absolutely. We're seeing many college athletes signing NIL deals with companies across different industries. What should athletes be keeping in mind when negotiating some of these agreements? And are there any risks that you feel could easily be overlooked?
Well, that's a really good question. I think it's different for everybody. If I was, sharing with them, I would encourage them to be authentic with it, to find things that they're passionate about. And then, if they're viewing multiple options, then, I know it's hard, but maybe be patient in weighing those options and not just jump for the first one, but be able to look at what fits who they are, what fits where they want to go, and their goals and their visions that they have. In really pursuing those dreams. And, sometimes the perfect option might not be the first one, although that's exciting. I remember my first scholarship offer on the same day I got it from Louisville and Ohio State. And I remember going home and, to my family, and I was like, pretending it was, the Monday Night Football. And I'm like, Tim Tebow, the Ohio State University, But I'm grateful I didn't make a decision the first day. I got a scholarship offer and continued to wait and look at all of them. And so I think it's just be encouraging the young people to just really, try to get, also I would encourage them to get wise counsel to help them to look at all of the different opportunities they have so they can make the right ones for them and where they want to go in the future.
It's not that I was offered an opportunity to play football at the Ohio State University, but even when I applied and got accepted to one of their colleges, I did the same thing. So I can relate. You look in the mirror, you say, Brad Smith, the Ohio State University, and then you realize, man, I got to make sure all these credits transfer. That is a long story, another day for that perhaps. But, even as we think about retroactive reconciliation here with the NIL policy changes, should there be prior penalty assessments that are reversed? You think about how there was the response virally around Reggie Bush and his Heisman that was revoked. Should he be getting that back? Should other players that experience those penalty assessments have those reversed as a result of these new policies?
Oh man, that's a big, deep question. Probably above my pay grade. I'm someone that I Reggie Bush. I loved watching him. He's a friend of mine, so I just obviously am supportive of him, and I think he's just one of the most amazing players in the history of the game, and so huge fan of his. I think that's big decisions for like the Heisman Trust and those people that I'm friends with. And I think it's a tough decision. I get both sides of it. And, I think it's once you open that door, there can be a lot that, where does that stop? And so it's interesting. I think it's up for a conversation. I know a lot of people have had that. And I would say, I would probably be listening on both sides.
And Tim, just lastly, while we have you, you have said that you are in the best shape of your life going into the opportunity to make sure that you try to make the Jaguars team. And what were you able to take away from that experience, trying out for a totally new position? And is there still a professional athletic career that you wish to pursue? And if so, which sport seems most likely?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I think I'm just, enjoy the opportunities that I have. I always try to pursue things that were on my heart, love it, give my best to it. So I don't have to live with regret. But now, look, I have the chance to be hanging out with you right now and, and then talk college football and support all these athletes and have a great time. So I'm always grateful for any chances I get.
All right, big thanks there to Tim Tebow, two-time college football national champion, Heisman Trophy winner, and New York Times best-selling author.